Education is key in carrying agriculture forward. Farm practices continue to evolve. Software is just as important as the hardware that runs it. Valley Ag Supply, based in Gayville, holds a field-to-table event each year, connecting students with agriculture. Tara Pirak, owner of Valley Ag Supply, says they have to stay on top of advancements to be a successful business.
Definitely more high-tech. We were saying in order to have fourth graders, it's almost hard to dumb down agriculture for a fourth grader's level. There is so much sophistication to it that it is something that our crew at Valley Ag Supply strives for every day, to keep learning, to keep knowing the new technology, the new traits.
Working from the ground up, soil management is critical for the future of farming. Arlo Licken says that practices have evolved, and producers understand that conservation is necessary.
Throughout my whole career in agriculture, we've gone from plowing every acre of soil every year and having a lot of wind and water erosion out of a lot of fields, to the point of some fields never being tilled in the no-till and minimal till for most of it. There's some soils that are a lot of heavier soil and deeper soils that get wet that still need tillage, but in the appropriate place, the no-till and very minimum till is the way to go. I think there'll be some different cropping. In the last few years, we've been using a lot of cover crops in the fall to help with the erosion, especially in fields where dairies and cattle feeders cut silage, to have something out there to hold the soil. There'll be less tillage all the time. And sometimes there's crops that in the rotation will be better for the soil. There's the corn on corn all the time, builds up a lot of organic matter, but it can cause issues over the years too, so you need to rotate a little bit. In the future, it's hard for me to look out and say what's happening, because what we do as far as breeding the new crops and what they're going to be capable of doing, there's talk of corn that will get its nitrogen just from the air rather than having to put nitrogen in the soil and things like that. Is that going to be in the near future? Probably not. In the distant future, will we see things like that? I think so.
Consumers are becoming more interested in where their food is coming from. Keith Mockler of Bayer Crop Science says that education for the public is important as advances continue.
It's evolved with a little bit of the politics that come along. 10, 11 years ago, we were big into some new biotech traits. Now it's a lot about where's my food coming from, how safe is my food. I think there's an immense amount of opportunity. Every day there's going to be more people in the world to feed. And what people need to remember, with this whole trade war going on, the United States and the American farmer owns the food. He produces it, and he produces enough high quality food to feed the world. So I think the future's pretty bright. Obviously there's some bumps in the road, but in production agriculture, that's the way it's been since the beginning of time.
Farm practices today look very different than they did even a decade ago. For any student hoping to work in the industry, flexibility will be key when they're ready to start their career. Sarah DeLay says events like this introduce options to her students.
And we do have kids that definitely plan on spending their careers on a farm or in the agriculture industry, whether it being working at a place like Valley Ag Supply and spraying fields for other people, testing the soil. Maybe even working at a place that deals with corn, at a factory that has ethanol plant or something.
And the big thing is there's room for a lot of young people not to just get involved in the production side of agriculture, but all of the businesses that go along with that, such as Valley Ag here where we're at today, supplying crop inputs, crop insurance jobs. There's a lot of banking industry jobs. The future of ag is very bright, and like I said, at the end of the day, we've all got to eat 3 times a day. Some of us eat more than that, but including myself. But if you're eating, you're involved in ag.
The face of agriculture is changing too, as more women are entering the industry. Pirak says she's noticed the shift in her own career.
There's definitely more women in agriculture over the last 20 years that we've been in business. There was a time where I would have been the only woman at a meeting. Now there's many women going to college for precision ag, agronomy. There's a whole bunch of them. As far as women owners, that's pretty rare. I can go to a meeting and there'll be 400 men and a woman, so bathroom breaks are great. But the dynamic is definitely shifting. It is not a man's world anymore. It definitely is a man and woman's world.
At the end of the day, these folks agree that the business side of the industry, careful number crunching, is key for success moving forward.
Ag has always been ever evolving. So you've got to stay up on the technology, the newest genetics, and you've got to make it work in a cash flow. So it's way more of a business today than it was when I got in the business 25, 30 years ago. Everything has to cash flow for the growers. And one great way to make that happen is just to stay up on the new technology, and then you've got to be able to sort through that technology on what's going to make you money and what's not. You know, there's a lot of neat, touchy-feely stuff out there, but does it make you any money at the end of the day?
When we have the 7th graders come tomorrow, finance is a big portion of the curriculum. Instead of just saying, well, it's easy to be a farmer, or it's fun, or this is what farmers are passionate about. That is totally true, but it takes a banker and a savvy business mind to keep the farm going. And in the last few years, that has not been easy. It has not been easy for farmers. It has not been easy for businesses like us, which trickle down into so many facets of the economy. So I think that is a big feature in what the next generation of farmers need to look at. It is no fun, and it's not particularly what their passion is, but financing is a big part of a farmer's deal.